And I want to know what exactly y'all are hiding. Yes, we're that couple who does painting lessons together. That's in 2017, September. Take a look right here. You and Charlie, 2017, September. Yet, she didn't know who Charlie was. Charlie didn't know who she was. Are you kidding me? You're posting pictures of you and Charlie and then you and her. Like, come on, man. We're not stupid, but...
Now we're finding out that Erika Kirk's ex-boyfriend, Cabot Phillips, why is her ex-boyfriend now doing these college visits and speaking on behalf of Charlie as well? A little weird, considering she said that she had dated nobody before Charlie for 5 years. She's literally seen in photos with this Cabot guy on dates with him. And now suddenly he's a part of Turning Point USA as well. He's suddenly a part of this college, debate me, let's talk together movement.
Something about Erika Kirk's story never sat right, and people are finally saying it out loud. Not because of grief, not because of politics, but because the version of her life she sold to the public is now colliding headfirst with receipts she didn't expect anyone to find. And the timing couldn't be worse. She rises to the top of Turning Point USA after Charlie Kirk's death, delivers emotional speeches.
Everyone's praising Erika Kirk's memorial speech like it was brave, but when you actually start looking into her, it gets dark fast. And I stand on what I said.
Positions herself as the devoted wife who lived a quiet, disciplined life before meeting the one. And then suddenly, whispers start spreading that the timeline doesn't add up. At first, it's easy to brush off as internet noise, but then screenshots appear. Old interviews resurface. And now, there are rumors, unverified but explosive, that an ex has leaked explicit images she allegedly tried to erase from existence. Whether those images ever go public almost doesn't matter, because the damage is already happening in real time. The question people aren't asking is, what did she do? The question burning through social media is, why did she lie about who she was? Because once people start wondering what you rewrote, they start questioning everything else you said. And that's when a polished image turns fragile. And that's just the surface. Because to understand why this hits so hard, you have to look at the version of Erika she spent years carefully building. For years, Erika positioned herself as the anti-dating culture woman, the kind who didn't need apps, didn't do drinks as dates, didn't bounce between relationships, and definitely wasn't out living a messy single life in New York. In interviews, she emphasized restraint, discipline, purity, not always using the word directly, but letting the implication hang in the air long enough for people to fill in the blanks themselves. She framed meeting Charlie not as luck, but as reward. As if staying set apart finally paid off. And to be fair, that story played extremely well with the audience she was speaking to. It fit the values, it fit the brand, it fit the moment after his death when people wanted a clean narrative to hold on to. The problem is that when you build credibility by contrast, by quietly saying, I wasn't like other girls, you create a standard that can collapse the second evidence shows otherwise. And once Erika stepped into real power as CEO, that standard mattered more than ever. People weren't just watching her, they were auditing her. That's when old clips started circulating. That's when people realized her past wasn't hidden. It was selectively omitted. And omission is a dangerous game when your authority is rooted in moral framing, because now the criticism isn't coming from enemies. It's coming from people who believed her. And once belief turns into doubt, the internet does what it always does next. It starts digging. The first real crack in Erika's story didn't come from some shadowy leak or political rival. It came from New York. Because the version of her life she described during those years, quiet, focused, untouched by dating, doesn't survive even light scrutiny. People quickly noticed that while she was telling audiences she avoided drinking culture and casual dating, clips from Bravo's Summer House started resurfacing. Filmed in 2018, there she was on a blind date, in social settings, doing exactly what normal 20-something women in New York do, laughing, drinking, flirting. Nothing scandalous on its own, but completely incompatible with the persona she later insisted on.
So Erika Kirk actually had 2 boyfriends within the 5 years before meeting Charlie Kirk. So why lie about this? Before we talk about the 2 boyfriends, let's watch this clip where Erika Kirk is lying to us.
I lived out here. I was here for 5 years. I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was. Somehow getting drinks was the replacement of having coffee and breakfast. I personally would rather have coffee or brunch with someone than going, I don't drink. I find it unproductive.
I do want to pause here and talk about Erika Kirk on Summer House. Mind you, she was on season 3, which was filmed the summer of 2018. And apparently her and Charlie did start dating the summer of 2018 as well.
Cheers, everyone.
This is ridiculous.
I also really enjoy these straws.
Okay, that's good.
You're a bright light in a very dark place.
So let's go grab a mojito. Yeah. Totally attracted to it. Can I get your number? Like,
Yeah.
how do you text with those nails that long too?
They're real.
I always thought it was very strange how she would go to drinks with one guy and then go to dinner with another.
And once viewers noticed that contradiction, they didn't stop at reality TV. They pulled interviews, old captions, event appearances. Suddenly, New York stopped being a vague chapter in her life and started looking like a carefully edited one, not erased, just rewritten enough to sound cleaner. That's when people stopped asking if she exaggerated and started asking how much. Because when someone simplifies their past to make a point, it raises a harder question. What was she trying to distance herself from? And the answer to that leads straight to the relationship she never fully accounted for. Before Charlie, before Turning Point, before the speeches, there was JT Massey. And unlike rumors, this part isn't speculation. It's documented. Interviews, photos, public affection.
But there's also another boyfriend. His name is Tyler Massey, and she dated him in 2015. Here we have them doing Fashion Week in Phoenix together. And in the caption to this photo posted by Jack Nicole, so Jack Nicole was the designer of Erika's outfit, hashtag this photo cute couple. And here's some more photos that were posted on Twitter. Another photo, okay, another one too, because these two are just so wonderful, hashtagged in love. This was posted March of 2015. Captioned, prepping another couple's gallery for delivery. So why lie in this interview that
In 2014, Erika didn't describe JT as some casual fling. She called him her favorite human, her best friend, her boyfriend, on the record. They appeared together at events. They did professional couples photo shoots. And years later, images from what looked very much like an engagement-style shoot began circulating again, reigniting questions she never answered. No one has proven they were engaged. And that matters. But what is clear is that this relationship falls squarely inside the exact window she later claimed was empty. That's why people latched onto it. Not because dating is a crime, but because it directly contradicts the narrative she leaned on so heavily. And when critics pointed this out, the response wasn't clarification. It was silence, which only made things worse. In 2017, Erika was publicly involved with Cabot Phillips. Not rumored, confirmed. One post in particular sealed it. The two of them on a painting date, smiling, comfortable, very much a couple, and that alone wouldn't matter, except for where Cabot was positioned at the time. He wasn't some random guy outside her world. He was deeply embedded in the same political and media circles as Charlie Kirk. Even more uncomfortable, photos from that same period show Cabot and Charlie in overlapping social spaces, group settings, friendly interactions, shared proximity, which immediately pokes holes in the story that Erika met Charlie later, randomly.
apparently Cabot Phillips is Erika Kirk's ex-boyfriend. And he now is doing TPUSA How to Lead Like Charlie conferences, like at universities. Interesting. And no, they weren't just friends, they were a couple. He literally captioned this September of 2017. Yes, we're that couple who gets painting lessons together. And ironically enough, September of 2017, he also was hanging out with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk had posted this with Cabot Phillips. Yes, I beat Cabot one-on-one, not sick of winning. September 24th, 2017. And in November of 2017, she wrote to Cabot, since this is where it all started, I only found it appropriate to wish you a very happy birthday, Cash Cab, your catfish. And there's a lot of comments about them like being a couple. June of 2017, gorgeous couple. Beautiful photo. October 2017, someone posted this replying to Cabot and Erika saying lovebirds. And this also now brings us to the point that Erika's math is not mathing when she talks about her relationship. During a CBS News town hall with Erika Kirk, she revealed that she did not date while living in New York for 5 years before she met Charlie in 2018. Well, that's interesting. Now know that she was definitely dating Cabot Phillips most of 2017, it seems. But yeah, the whole How to Lead Like Charlie, and that's literally his grieving widow's ex, is very odd. Like, you couldn't pick anyone else.
And with no prior overlap. Because once you line the dates up instead of listening to the anecdotes, the chance meeting story starts to wobble. And when people realize that Cabot may have introduced Erika to Charlie while she was still emotionally or romantically tied elsewhere, the tone of the conversation shifted. This wasn't about dating history anymore. And that realization opened the door to a much darker question. What else was happening during that overlap? This is where things get tense. Because around the same time people began dissecting timelines instead of quotes, whispers started spreading about explicit photos allegedly leaked by an ex, images Erika supposedly believed were buried for good. This was about selective honesty, about how much of the story was softened to sound cleaner after the fact. And that realization opened the door to a much darker question. What else was happening during that overlap? No mainstream outlet touched it. No official confirmation exists. But behind the scenes, the reaction was loud. Private forums lit up. Screenshots moved fast. And suddenly, the conversation wasn't just about past relationships. It was about exposure, the kind you can't spin your way out of. Insiders began claiming TPUSA leadership was scrambling, using words like emergency meetings and damage control behind closed doors. And while those photos may never hit public platforms, the idea that they exist was enough to rattle everything Erika had built since stepping into power.